Hi, my name is Phil. I will use this short screencast to give you a brief introduction to a better approach to assessing personal injury claims. You might not realize it, but there are two very different types of medical opinion. The first and most commonly used in the UK is called eminence-based opinion. Eminence-based opinions are based on the examining doctor's clinical experience and his or her assessment of the claimant's credibility. The second type of opinion used in other advanced jurisdictions such as Australia, Canada, and the United States is called evidence-based opinion. Evidence-based opinions are formed from the latest medical science and provide an opinion based on hard, measurable facts. Why is medical science important when evaluating a personal injury or occupational medical claim? The courts in other advanced jurisdictions have, for many years, used an evidence-based approach for personal and occupational injury claims. The courts in these jurisdictions recognize that decisions must be based on facts. Lawyers and judges recognize that subjective symptoms as described by a claimant, such as pain, are driven by the desire for compensation, money. In contrast, hard medical facts such as the mechanism of injury and other objective findings such as X-ray imaging and clinical studies can be measured and are impartial. Now let's look at a real-life example. In this case, a 42-year-old female was complaining about knee joint pain 15 months after a slip and fall on a wet surface. The MRO eminence-based opinion diagnosed a soft tissue injury and linked the condition to the slip. The highly defendable evidence-based medicine opinion gave an osteoarthritis diagnosis and determined the condition was not linked to the slip. The insurer handling the claim was able to successfully defend the claim through negotiations after receiving the evidence-based opinion. How were these two very different outcomes reached? The MRO opinion was reached after an interview of the claimant, a quick examination of the claimant's knees, and the MRO doctor's experience, believing that there was at least a time link between the slip and the onset of the knee pain symptoms. Conversely, the evidence-based medicine opinion was reached by reading through the MRO doctor's report, considering the medical facts as well as the symptoms as explained by the claimant. Through consulting the latest medical science, the evidence-based medicine expert was able to conclude that the claimant was suffering from osteoarthritis and not a soft tissue injury. You might ask yourself, what's wrong with the eminence-based approach that proliferates in the UK today? Well, for one thing, the opinions given are based on one doctor's assessment formed from his or her clinical experience. The problem with this approach? Another doctor is likely to come up with another opposing opinion based on his or her clinical experience. Eminence-based opinion is reliant on one doctor's assessment of the claimant's credibility. When making citations and references, the doctor with this approach selectively chooses references that back up his or her experience rather than as a foundation of an opinion as it should be. Financial incentives that naturally exist between a service provider and a paying party also motivate a doctor to either find a link or not find a link between an injury and an index event. Using eminence-based opinion as the basis of a claim closure strategy leaves one exposed to opposing views and challenge. If you are not convinced by the pitfalls of the eminence-based approach, consider the impact of eminence-based opinion on the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine debate. Dr. Wakefield used his position and authority to promote his opinion that the combined vaccine caused autism in children. No independent doctor could replicate or repeat his findings. In fact, studies conducted by Dr. Wakefield's peers found that there was no link at all between giving the combined vaccination to children and an increase in autism. As a result, and without knowing it, many parents around the globe were making important medical decisions not founded on science, but formed from one doctor's eminence. Beacon IME is raising the bar. The examples highlighted are not flukes. Beacon IME has many cases where evidence-based medical experts have found unjustifiable gaps between what an MRO doctor has reported and what the latest medical science can tell us about an injury. Beacon IME has a cadre of vetted and trained medical experts skilled at surfacing medical opinion that stands up to the highest judicial scrutiny. Our clients get science-based, objective, and balanced analysis and reporting every time, guaranteed. If after hearing this short explanation you want to learn more, please get in touch with Beacon IME. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening.